How much do consumers pay for long-term care insurance? This presentation will give you an example of real costs based on the 2012 price index calculated by the American Association for Long-Term Care Insurance. This is Jesse Sloan, Executive Director of the Association, and the presentation will cover two things. First, we'll give you real examples from the 2012 price index of what policies cost a complete range, and more importantly, I believe, we'll address some important facts that you don't know. A quick caveat, rates are always subject to change, and so this should be used really just as an example. For actual rates which are specific to you, you're going to need to consult with a knowledgeable long-term care insurance agent. First, I think it's worth taking a second to understand what insurers look at when they arrive or determine long-term care insurance costs. Basically, there are four factors: your age when you apply, your health when you apply, that's the most important factor, the amount of coverage or the benefits you select, and any discounts that you qualify for. I think this is a most important point, so I'm going to spend a minute on this. First, as you'll see when we start showing the prices, rates will vary from one insurer to the next, often quite significantly. You'll be surprised. That's because each insurer has what I call sweet spots. Often they have a sweet spot for age. Some prefer younger people. Some will be more competitive than others at older ages. They certainly have sweet spots when it comes to acceptable health conditions. Listen, when most people start looking into long-term care, they inevitably have some existing health conditions, taking or have been prescribed a medication or two or often more. Each insurer will have ones that they prefer and that they will accept that others won't. And that's why it's important to understand the last point. There are two types of insurance professionals in the United States. They're insurance agents and they're insurance brokers. Agents generally work for just one company. The products that they offer are associated with that company. Brokers are independent. They can represent and access multiple companies. And generally, good long-term care insurance brokers will have access to policies from 6 or more long-term care companies. Now, it's important that you do your due diligence and that you ask, because they're obviously something that you want to compare, and you want to know whether the agent or the broker has access to multiple policies, whether they ultimately are getting you the best protection for the best price. So every year, the American Association for Long-Term Care Insurance undertakes a price index. What we do is we look at about 10 to 12 of the leading long-term care insurance companies, and we set a standard for policy benefits that we use to compare rates across different ages, different conditions. Basically, for the last couple of years, we've been looking at a $150 daily benefit with a 3-year benefit period. Those are the two factors that are used to determine the pool of money that your policy equals. Now, we always factor in a 3% compound growth option. That's important, we believe, because you want your benefits to keep pace with rising costs. So what does this really mean? Well, an immediate policy benefit for someone age 55, if they signed up and used this formula, their policy would immediately be worth $164,000. But with long-term care insurance, you're much more concerned with what your policy is going to be worth in the years to come, when you're far more likely to need care. So at age 75, the policies that we're going to show for someone age 55 today, that policy would actually have grown to $305,000. And at age 85, the policy will have grown to $410,000 for each applicant. So here you finally see the rates. This is for an individual or a couple where both people are age 55. And as you can see, we've given a range. Someone in preferred health who qualifies for a preferred health discount will pay less than someone who's in standard health. Maybe they take a medication or two. So a single individual in preferred health, the average premium for a year is $1,720. But to the right of that, you can see the range of what the different insurers charge for basically identical coverage, and it's going to range from $14.28 to $25.52. So it's important once you look at this to understand and to ask that question. Has the agent or broker that you're working with really shopped the market for you? Are they working on your behalf? Now, we'll look at couples. Well, couples, and this is the combined rate for both spouses that we're showing, not what each person pays. Couples generally qualify for a discount. It ranges when both spouses apply, and some companies will even offer a partial discount when only one spouse applies or one spouse can health qualify. But basically what you can see here is the rate for both couples. And the last line is for couples, but we've added what's called a shared care option. This adds about 15 to 17% to your premium, but it provides an incredibly significant benefit for couples. And that's the ability for each individual to tap the combined pool of both spouses' benefits. So simply said, if you remember the slide earlier where we showed at age 75, your single policy would be worth about $300,000. Well, now with this shared care option, each individual couple member, if the first one goes on claim and they exhaust their policy, they're able to tap into the spouses. With shared care, the provision from one insurer to the other, as with all provisions, do vary. So again, it's important to talk to a knowledgeable specialist. As we said at the beginning, the ages for long-term care insurance will determine how much you'll pay. The older you are when you apply, the more you'll pay. And this slide clearly shows what a couple, both preferred or both standard, could expect to pay combined at age 60. Now again, what we're showing for the couple is the rates with the shared care option. If you took out the shared care option and you each just bought an individual policy that would just be for you alone as a couple, you can expect to pay about 15 to 17% less. And if you apply when your age is 65, again, what we're showing is that how the rates have increased for the couple. And more importantly, again, look at that spread from $3,800 for the couple where both are preferred to over $6,600, emphasizing to you how important it is to shop around and to compare. Because unlike some types of other insurance where you might convert from one year to the next, with long-term care insurance, after you've had a policy for maybe a year to 2 years, it never pays to convert because you're going to pay at the new higher age rate, and the chances of health qualifying are less because as we get older, our health does change. I want to conclude with a recommendation. The association has a variety of free consumer guides. They're very informative that we've published and that appeared in prior issues of Kiplinger's Personal Finance magazine. You can read all of them online, and the nice feature is that there's no sign-in information. We don't ask you to share your email or your name or phone number or anything like that. You can just go to the website address that you see here, AALTCI.org/guides, then click on the Read Now button, and you'll be able to read all of the guides, and we keep adding new ones. I think you'll find them very helpful and very informative to you. And lastly, after you've done all of your homework, if you would like to request a no-obligation quote from a member of the association, look for this button on our website. Fill in the information, or you can even call the organization and ask our staff questions. I will explain that your name and your information will be passed only to one association member. You will not be deluged with calls. They will call you, email you, get the information that you need to make an educated decision. There's never a cost, there's no obligation, and there's never any pressure. I want to thank you for watching this presentation and appreciate your interest in the topic.